Today's courtroom showdown starts with what looks like a simple speeding ticket. But within minutes, it spirals into a full-blown power clash between a wealthy businesswoman and a judge who refuses to be intimidated. What happens when someone believes money puts them above the law? And what does a judge do when disrespect crosses the line into contempt? Trust me, this case takes a dramatic turn that nobody in that courtroom saw coming. Stay tuned, because this isn't just about speeding. It's about ego, accountability, and a courtroom lesson that gets very expensive.
You know, I've been on this bench for many years, and I've seen all kinds of people walk through those doors. But there was one Wednesday morning that really stays with me. My bailiff leaned over and whispered that the next defendant had been difficult with court staff. I prepared myself, then this woman walked in, Patricia Whitmore, cited for driving 25 miles over the speed limit in a residential neighborhood. The officer's notes said she'd been argumentative, claimed she was too important to be stopped, and initially refused to sign the citation. She came in wearing designer clothes, carrying a luxury handbag, checking her phone constantly. Everything about her body language told me she considered this proceeding beneath her. I said, "Miss Whitmore, you're here regarding a speeding citation. Please approach." She walked forward slowly, still looking at her phone. "Miss Whitmore, I need your full attention. Please put your phone away." She looked up at me with visible annoyance. "I'm handling important business matters. Can we make this quick? I have actual important things to do today." The courtroom tensed immediately. I told her, "Miss Whitmore, this court is important and you'll give it your full attention. Now, you were cited for driving 55 inches, a 30-mile-per-hour zone. How do you plead?" "This whole thing is ridiculous," she said. "That speed limit is absurd for that road. I drive it every day and I've never had a problem." I kept my composure. "That's not what I asked. How do you plead to the charge?" "Fine, whatever, I was speeding. Can I just pay this and leave? I don't have time for this." I reviewed the citation. "Miss Whitmore, 25 miles over the speed limit in a residential area is serious. There are children, families." She interrupted me. "I know that neighborhood. Those people should teach their kids not to play near the street. I shouldn't have to drive 30 miles an hour because parents can't supervise their children properly." The courtroom reacted with audible disapproval. I said, "Miss Whitmore, the speed limit exists to protect everyone in that community, not just children. Your attitude toward this citation concerns me." "My attitude?" Her voice rose. "My attitude is that I'm a successful businesswoman being lectured by a small-town judge about driving on a road I use daily. This is a waste of my time and taxpayer money." I stood up. "Miss Whitmore, I'm going to remind you that you're in a courtroom. You will show respect for this process." "Respect for what? For you rubber stamping tickets to generate revenue?" "I know how this works. I'll pay your fine and be done with it." I told her, "Miss Whitmore, your fine for this violation is $350 plus court costs." She laughed dismissively. "That's it? I spend more than that on lunch. Just add it to my credit card and I'll be on my way." I looked at her directly. "This isn't a restaurant, Miss Whitmore. This is a court of law, and you're treating it like an inconvenience rather than a serious matter." "Because it is an inconvenience," she said. "You're treating me like a criminal for driving a little fast on an empty road." I pulled up her record. "Miss Whitmore, I'm looking at your driving record. You have 3 prior speeding tickets in the last 2 years." "So what? I paid them all." That's how this works, right? You give tickets, I pay them, everyone's happy. "No, Miss Whitmore, that's not how this works. Each violation represents dangerous driving that could harm others." She rolled her eyes. "Oh, please, I'm an excellent driver. I've been driving for 30 years without an accident." "Your lack of accidents is fortunate, but it doesn't excuse repeated speeding violations." Then she said something I'll never forget. "Look, Judge," and she said my title with obvious condescension. "I'm a busy person. I run 3 companies. I employ over 200 people, and I contribute more to this city's tax base than most people in this courtroom will earn in their lifetimes." The gallery gasped. I told her, "Miss Whitmore, your financial status is irrelevant to your obligation to follow traffic laws." "Really? Because from where I'm standing, it seems like this whole system exists to shake down people like me who actually contribute to society." My voice became stern. Miss Whitmore, I'm going to ask you one more time to show respect for this court. And if I don't, what are you going to do, Judge? Find me more money that I don't care about? You can't intimidate me. I'm not some scared kid or poor person who has to bow and scrape before you. The courtroom went completely silent. I said, Miss Whitmore, your attitude in this courtroom is as concerning as your speeding. Both show a disregard for rules and the safety of others. She picked up her phone again. Are we done here? Because I actually have important meetings today. Put that phone down, Miss Whitmore. We are not done. Actually, I think we are. She turned toward the door. Send me the bill. I'll have my assistant pay it. I raised my voice. Miss Whitmore, if you take one more step toward that door without my permission, you will be held in contempt of court. She stopped and turned back with a smirk. Contempt for what? For not being impressed by your little kingdom here? For showing repeated disrespect to this court? For attempting to leave in the middle of a hearing? And for demonstrating the exact attitude that makes you a danger on our roads? A danger? I'm a danger because I don't grovel before a judge in a tiny municipal court? I let my voice fill the courtroom. You're a danger because you believe rules don't apply to you. You're a danger because you think your wealth exempts you from common courtesy and legal obligations. And you're a danger because you have no regard for the safety of others. This is ridiculous. I'm leaving. She took another step. I called out, Bailiff, please ensure Miss Whitmore remains in this courtroom. For the first time, her confidence wavered. You can't keep me here, she said. Miss Whitmore, I absolutely can. You're in my courtroom, and you'll stay until this hearing is concluded. Now sit down. She remained standing. Miss Whitmore, sit down now, or I'll add a contempt charge to your speeding violation. She slowly returned to her position. Now, let's discuss your situation clearly. You were cited for excessive speeding in a residential area. This is your fourth speeding ticket in 2 years. You've shown no remorse, no understanding of why this matters, and you've repeatedly disrespected this court. I don't have to stand here and be lectured by, yes, Miss Whitmore, you do. That's exactly what's happening right now. I sat back. Miss Whitmore, your original fine was $350. However, given your behavior in this courtroom, I'm increasing it to the maximum $500 plus court costs. Her face showed genuine surprise. You can't do that. I can and I am. Additionally, I'm requiring you to attend a driver safety course within 30 days. A driver safety course? I've been driving for decades. Clearly unsuccessfully, given your 4 speeding tickets, you will complete the course and provide proof to this court. This is outrageous. I'll appeal this. You have that right, Miss Whitmore. I encourage you to explain to an appellate judge how you treated this courtroom and see if they're sympathetic. Her arrogance began to crack. Furthermore, I'm adding a contempt of court charge for your behavior today. That's an additional $200 fine. For what? For not kissing your ring? For repeatedly disrespecting this court, for attempting to leave during a hearing, and for showing complete disregard for legal proceedings. So your total is now $700 plus court costs, which brings it to $850 plus mandatory traffic school. Her face reddened. She finally realized her attitude had cost her significantly more than if she'd simply been respectful. You're punishing me for being successful, she said. I'm holding you accountable for breaking the law and for showing contempt for the judicial system. Your wealth is irrelevant to your obligations as a citizen. I want to speak to your supervisor. I don't have a supervisor, Miss Whitmore. I'm the chief judge of this municipal court. But again, you're welcome to appeal. She stood silently, perhaps for the first time realizing that her money and status meant nothing in this courtroom. I said, Miss Whitmore, I want you to understand something. This court sees people from every background. Some can barely afford their fines. Others, like you, consider them pocket change. But the law applies equally to everyone. She remained silent. When you speed through residential neighborhoods, you're not just breaking a rule, you're risking lives. Children live there. Elderly people walk there. Families exist there. Your convenience is not more important than their safety. I continued. Your attitude today showed me exactly why you keep getting tickets. You don't think rules apply to you. You think your business success exempts you from basic courtesy and legal obligations. For the first time, she looked genuinely uncomfortable rather than dismissive. I'm going to tell you what I tell everyone who appears before me. This court cares about your character more than your bank account. Today, you showed very poor character. She finally spoke. Can I just pay the fine and leave? Yes. But first, you'll apologize to this court for your disrespectful behavior. What? You heard me. You will apologize for your disrespect, or I'll add another contempt charge. She stood silently, pride warring with pragmatism. Miss Whitmore, I'm waiting. I apologize for my behavior in court today. Miss Whitmore, say it like you mean it. She took a breath. Your Honor, I apologize for being disrespectful to you and to this court. My behavior was inappropriate. I nodded. Apology accepted. Now let me be clear about what happens next. You will pay $850 in fines and costs. You will complete traffic school within 30 days. You will provide proof of completion to this court. If you receive one more speeding ticket in the next year, I will personally review your case and consider license suspension. She nodded. And Miss Whitmore, one more thing. The next time you're driving through that neighborhood at 55 miles an hour, I want you to remember this moment. Remember that your time is not more valuable than other people's lives. Yes, Your Honor. You're dismissed. The clerk will process your payment. I watched her walk toward the clerk's office. She moved differently, less arrogantly, more soberly. Perhaps she was beginning to understand that respect isn't given based on wealth. It's earned through character and behavior. You know, when we achieve success, we have a choice. Do we use it to demand special treatment? Or do we remember that wealth and status don't exempt us from basic decency and legal obligations? In my courtroom, character matters infinitely more than your bank balance. And justice truly is blind to financial status.
At this point, the entire tone of the courtroom has shifted. What started as a $350 speeding citation has now exploded into an $850 lesson in accountability, all because of arrogance, interruptions, and open disrespect toward the court. And, legally speaking, this is important. Contempt of court isn't about hurting a judge's feelings. It's about maintaining order and respect inside a legal proceeding. The moment Patricia ignored warnings, challenged the authority of the court, and attempted to walk out mid-hearing, she crossed a line that judges take very seriously. What's fascinating here is that the judge repeatedly gave her opportunities to de-escalate. He asked for basic respect, simple compliance, even multiple verbal warnings before increasing penalties. But instead of reading the room, she doubled down every single time. And now you can actually see the realization hitting her. Money can pay fines, but it can't buy immunity from consequences. This case also raises a bigger question. Do repeat. Offenders eventually stop seeing fines as punishment if they can easily afford them? And if so, should courts rely more on corrective measures like mandatory driving courses or license suspension instead of financial penalties alone? By the end of this hearing, the judge wasn't just punishing speeding, he was addressing a mindset that believed success somehow placed someone above the rules everyone else follows. And honestly, that's the moment this stopped being a traffic case and became a character test. If you found this case as shocking as we did, make sure to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping courtroom breakdowns.